Set up. There we go. Where's it? Good morning. Just get them all set up. There we go. I do some mixREF studies this morning. How are we doing? I haven't been online a bit doing this. I've been trying to nail down those pages a bit quicker, so they're all inked and whatnot that I wanted to do initially. So that's good. Started coloring. We'll see how I feel about that. It's been a few days since I looked at it, and then I spent the last few days in the woods. Which I wasn't even going to be here today, so. But kind of package decided to come early, which is actually right above me. It's so jittery up there. Well, I guess maybe this is warming up or something. We'll see how it goes over there. But painting in the woods. So. That's where I've been. I don't know where you guys have been. No, in the right spot. And the package is up above me, so it's a nude lens, well, used lens, and but I had two lenses, and this actually worked as one for both. So I had like a regular standard lens, and then the other one was a zoom lens on my desk, and I had to kind of swap between them if I wanted to do different things. And so I did see like the one I wanted existed, but the new one was very expensive, and so I was like, I spotted a used one on eBay, and what they were going for. And I was like, oh, I can do that. So initially said it was going to come on Wednesday, but decided to come on Monday, so I came home early. Which I'm sure my dog didn't mind. He gets mixed feelings about our extended stays in the woods. You know, all of his stuff is here, and it's more comfortable. All that typical homebody stuff. Okay, we came for the trip. Let's go home. But I said, nope. Hang out here. So anyway, what I'm doing this mixREF, basically I'm taking some figure drawing reference I have. I kind of rough in the structure, and then so I have everything kind of there, and then take some costume reference and throw that on top. I figure that's a good kind of practice warm-up activity to do. And of course, we got a bunch of new followers coming in on the account. Appreciate you checking things out. But that's this way. That's a good zoom in. We'll work in now, huh? The phone Instagram side. Wish you could do horizontal simultaneous streams to Instagram with the other things, but for whatever reason, they don't much. You can, but it's like it cuts it to a vertical slice, which I don't like at all. So, anyway, getting it all roughed in. That's where I always start. So, and do let me know if there's any questions about there. As usual. All right, what are we doing for costume? It's nice about Pinterest. Pinterest added a new thing where you can hide, for the most part. I think it's not 100% effective, but you can hide AI slop. If I repeat myself. They've enabled that as a setting where you can go through and you can hide all of that. You can also disable the training of your work in their systems as well. So that's been there for a while. You have to opt out, but still, it's nice to know that it exists. Let's see. Something in that category, but I'm not seeing anything I'm looking for specifically. That'll be okay. Actually, there were some booths or something I could see, but I guess we can find booths later. Right. So, and then if you see, I guess the people I've been working with, they've been advertising a webinar for this Thursday evening, my time, on creating depth. And so if you see that, do sign up for that. And webinar is free. Obviously, we'll be talking about the course that I'm selling through them, but we'll have like a nice little lesson on grading depth, and there's no obligation. Just don't hesitate to sign up for that. All right, looks like it's caught up over there. Encoding over, so there's turning down video or something or other. Let's see what that says. Fewer encoding, faster encoding preset. I think I might need to switch to using my work computer as the streaming computer and get rid of this old MacBook. All right, we're going to go with this guy here with his push those in a bit. Get the straps around the side. That. Put in these ammo cases or something in here. Pop up over there. Pop up over there and rolled up shirt. Good morning, good morning. Fourth option. And there, going sideways with a. That's sort of good room for that, so we'll leave that one off. Make the arm up in front. And we'll go back. Just that trajectory. Good morning, good morning. Hello, Bosch. Dog decided to join me. What do you think, Bosch? Not gonna lay down? Yeah, but I'm excited about this new lens that's up above. You don't see it on the Instagram side, obviously, but so I can zoom really far back and zoom really far in. It's an 18 millimeter to 200, so we can do standard shots as well as super zoomed in telephoto shots. Hello. Good morning over there on the YouTube side. Look how far I can zoom in. All the way down to there. And zoom way out. Poor dog. We are chomping at him. I think we been fighting off a little flea problem, and I think I need to fumigate the house. So I think we're going to go get some of that today. I appreciate that. And doing what I call mixREF, so I'm taking some reference that I purchased, figure drawing reference. I sketched that out loosely, and then I grabbed some costume reference, and I kind of put that on top. I do need some boots, though. Boots in the shot, just the pants and the shirt. So this guy's wearing. The guy I'm looking at, not the girl that I'm drawing, but the guy's clothes I'm looking at, he's also got clothes on, which I guess I should include as well. But this is a little warm up I like to do from time to time. I do different ones. If you look through the different live streams I have, but this is one I like to do where I kind of take those reference sources and blend them. Yeah, just a way of practicing things, and I think it helps me. Good morning. Good morning. Happy new comic book day, as it were. So, I had to come back early from my little painting trip. I'm bummed about that. I ordered a new lens, well, a used lens, because I was looking at a different lens for the overhead shots, and so in order for me to do certain types of things, I'd have to like swap lenses. Oh, today's Tuesday, huh? I keep mixing up my days. I thought yesterday was Wednesday for some reason. I was like, no wait, yesterday was Monday, so I guess today would be Tuesday, huh? Because my plan had been to come back on like Wednesday, so I think my brain was still thinking like that. But I got a new lens, which is up above me here, and it goes from 18 to 200 millimeters, so it can zoom out pretty far and then zoom in pretty far as well. I was just using one telephoto lens and getting by with that above for the most part. Occasionally switching to the 50 millimeter one I have, but it's always just kind of a pain to do that since it's up above and all of that. So I found a used one for less than half of the full price of a new lens. So I ordered that. It was supposed to come on Wednesday, and then I saw it was coming yesterday. So I had to end my. Well, yeah, that's iPhone's different, obviously, because I've got the YouTube channel thing going on there. Oh, we got ourselves a bot over on Twitch. These guys. Spam. Always ask for comments. I put some random buggers in there. Gone. But yeah, the phone always has a good image on it. But again, I got a new overhead camera for the other channels that I live stream on, so that could be interesting. Yeah. So I was a little annoyed that it came early. Just people like, oh, our package is coming early. That's great. For me, I was like, well, I planned on it coming here on Wednesday, like it originally said, and then it changed its mind. I found this really incredible spot up on the mountains. There's like a bunch of it's very top of a mountain, like a taller peak, and there's a bunch of FAA towers on that peak. They're all surrounded by big gates and barbed wire, but really incredible views up there and some nice forest stuff. It was different than where I'd intended to go. It was kind of this little glade, but when I got up there Friday after faculty meetings, they all the spots I'd intended to look at were all taken up. It was just like packed up there, like big family groups and things, which is understandable. It is peak fall weather right now. And so everyone else is thinking what I was thinking, but I wanted to get up there earlier, but I had a faculty meeting on reading day, which most faculty don't care because most people don't teach on a Friday either way. Yeah, so yeah, there's the foliage maps, and it's like perfect, high level color and all that up there. But so I think I'm going to try to go back there after class this weekend. I can stay a little bit longer. You know, the challenges that I face in my life, right? But I got some good plein air painting done while I was up there. I decided to focus on the oils instead of the gouache. So I brought my gouache kit, but I didn't do any gouache painting. So I did 4.5 oil studies up there. And it's funny, the last one was pretty stiff because the weather, we got a big storm in, and so it cooled everything off. And so oil paint, when it's pretty cool outside, it will stiffen up as you paint. So it has like a very kind of Russian impressionism effect on it because the paint is just caking it on, stiffening up as soon as you got on the canvas. All right, we're going to ink this. Put in some shadow indication, so I have that. And then I haven't been live streaming very much just because I've been trying to finish those pages. They're all inked, and I got them scanned in. And oh, that sneeze. Excuse me. I wanted to. Always in twos, right? But I wanted to color them in Infinite Painter, but I kept bumping into some weird glitches in the program. I was trying to do these masking layers, and when I closed the file, or sometimes it would glitch out, it would swap the masks to different groups, which you know, is really unhelpful. So, thank you. So I sent a note to the guy who makes the app, because I know him a little bit, like, what's going on here with the app, because it's being glitchy. And so I opened up Clip Studio Paint, started working on it on the computer. We're doing some mixREF sketching this morning, because people are wondering. So I haven't opened up to see how I felt about the coloring job. I'm trying to. Been looking at Matt Hollingsworth for color. He colors a lot of stuff for Sean Gordon Murphy, and I kind of like the effect because he, Sean Gordon Murphy keeps, does a lot of the values in his drawing, so that, there's not like a lot of strong light and shadow coloring happening in his stuff, because he covers, because he does a lot of that just with his ink work, and so the colorists don't get to do a lot of that. So that's mostly what I have, is somewhere kind of in between lines and heavy shadows. But most are happy how the pages came out, so I'm looking forward to doing some more. But I wanted to get at least some of these colored in a satisfactory way. And if you're going to say pitch something on as a crowdfunder or to image or whatever, you've got to have some of that colored and ready to go. But it was nice, getting out in the forest, doing some painting. The half painting is started painting this old log. It's kind of hollowed out with stuff growing inside of it. And let's see, you want to try a parallel pen? Let's see, we'll go up to 1.5 millimeter. But yes, that was good getting out there. My dog, of course, always has mixed feelings about the car camping situation, because all of his stuff is here in the house, and he likes to go out to places, but he's always like, "Well, can home down. And I also kind of, have to leave him in the car for some of that because A, it's too cold, and B, at a certain point, he likes to start exploring, and we worry about him getting braver as he explores further out and wandering off. Usually get him to come and relax after a while, but it's a bit of distraction while I'm trying to paint in the woods. It was funny with the inking that I was doing. I ended up re-inking the first 2 pages. So I didn't really, after I inked the other ones, I was much happier with where they ended up. And so I reprinted and re-inked the initial pages I'd started with. I was pretty happy with how the explosion turned out and some of the character stuff. So I need to sit down and revise my script a little bit for the story synopsis and find some additional impactful shots for the pitch that I want to put together. Whether that's for a publisher or some kind of crowdfunder. Got caught up on some movies too while I was out there. I have a hard time kind of sitting still when I'm home to watch a movie. It doesn't happen that often, but when I'm out there in the woods, it gets dark, around 6:30 or so I can't really hang out too much outside after a certain point. So I watched. So what did I watch first? I watched. What did I watch first? I watched Beetlejuice first. Hello, Michael. Now heading out to the Lightbox I saw. But so I watched that. It was okay. I thought it was entertaining, but it wasn't like it was more Beetlejuice, which I guess is what people wanted from it. So that's good. I do feel like the plot with the girl's boyfriend, I think, was a little short. Kind of got the short shrift. Actually, it seems like both of the major kind of villain plots both got a little shorted somehow. But it was okay. And then I watched Monkey Man, Horrorman. That was really good. So if you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend that. It's inspired by John Wick films, but it's set in India. It's about a guy who's been, if you haven't seen it, he's been unjustly dealt with, without any kind of spoiler alerts, due to the corruption. I think that's what it wasn't. Yeah, wasn't he one of those kid guys or something like that? What's funny is they made him like a hero though, like in the movie. It wasn't like he was a villain. Like he just had a really stupid death where he got eaten by a shark. But they made him out to be like, oh, he's such a nice guy and a hero. And so I remember that was something about that, right? That the dad had something with the kid stuff, right? if I recall. It's been a while since I read any stories, but that seems to be what my memory tells me. I'd have to look it up, so don't quote me on that, um, yeah, so. But yeah, Monkey Man was really good. I was really surprised. I'd heard things about it being good, but I hadn't seen it. And yeah, it's about a guy who's kind of been pushed down to the bottom limits of society, and he plays a heel in a fighting ring where he gets beat up all the time and loses. He only gets paid extra if he's like really seriously injured. And anyway, he's saving up so he can get revenge for what happened to him and his family. And his first attempt goes really, really poorly, and he gets saved by some transgender women who train him up to be a better warrior, and then he goes back and they kind of join forces with him to defeat the corruption that's going on in that section of India, or India overall, I guess. But I was really surprised. I heard it was good, but I didn't know it was really good. I think his motivations are way stronger than John Wick's were. I mean, the dog thing's pretty important, but this guy's like his mom. That's so stronger. They actually mentioned John Wick in the movie, which is funny because he goes shopping for guns early on in the movie, and the guy who's selling the guns is trying to be like a John Wick style dealer. Even though he's not, but he's trying to kind of pretend he is. He's like, "Here's a gun that John Wick uses in his movies." The actor, the character doesn't go for that gun. It's too big or something like that. Maybe something a little smaller. But definitely recommend Monkey Man. It was really, really good. I was surprised. So, and then I watched Flow. So I wanted to see it for a while, I just hadn't gotten around to it, and then I saved it on the iPad on some other movies to watch while I was there. And it happened to be the same day that my sister decided it was time to let her dog go. So I was like, that's a good excuse to watch an animal movie. Saying goodbye to Luna. So those are movies I got caught up on that I've been meaning to watch. There's more in the queue, but I will caught up on those later. Yeah, she'd had her dog a long time, and it turned out their dog, according to the vets when they were checking her out, they think she was actually a couple years older than my sister thought she was. She's like I think 7% original wolf, so not like new wolf has been bred into her, but like the old wolf from dogs. She's got a pretty high concentration of that. So she was really, really smart. She was pretty mixed. I forget what her mix was. It's German Shepherd and a couple other things. But she's a big, black, hairy dog. Um, but she was actually a wild dog for a long time. So it took my sister a couple of years to really tame her. But she lived independently for, turns out, probably 4 years before my sister got a hold of her. She had several puppy litters and things out in the wild. And so I forget how long she was with my sister. I have to double check. But, so my sister's, I think, fourth dog she's had. But yeah, she's pretty, she'd lost her cat that's, been through, I think, 3 of her dogs last year. And then her Luna just recently. So, but she was pretty rough condition when I saw her last this summer. So lots of tumors and things like that. Hips are going bad. So, oh yeah, that's right. You had that. You got that puppy. Um, yeah, my dog. He just turned 9 this month. I think it's in October. So his paperwork seemed to indicate he was born in October of 2016. And, he's doing great. So, I think we've got a flea problem in the house, and so so I gave him a bath. And supposedly that flea bath stuff is supposed to like keep the fleas off of them, but it is not proven effective. So when I take off this weekend, he's going to get a bath before we leave, and then I am going to fumigate the house. So I think part of the problem is we live downtown, and so other people are walking around with their dogs, and there's a lot of them. And then so it's I think it's hard to permanently get rid of down here. I think they got into some of the furniture. And that's not a big deal. It's like it takes a couple hours for you set it off, you leave for a couple hours, and it does its thing. You come back in, and it's I guess safe to come inside. But it's not that expensive. It's like probably costs me like $10 or something for those. But yeah, he's been itchy. The thing is, he's gotten like 2 flea baths in the last like 3 weeks, and so apparently whatever it is not like it's the good stuff, but I guess it's just not taken. Or maybe it expires at a certain point. I just had the bottles too long, or the bottle too long. Yeah. So, but it is annoying because camping in my little camper, and he's sleeping right next to me, curled up in there, really tight, and all of a sudden 2:30 in the morning, and he jumps up and starts chomping on himself. So he's not sleeping well, and I'm not sleeping well, and he itches. And fleas, they don't bother me, but they don't come after humans usually. But definitely bothering him. Yeah, we used to go to a dog park when I lived in Florida, and had to stop going because every time we would go, we'd pick up fleas. Just sad because like going over there. He didn't usually like to stay very long, but it's nice getting to meet other dogs and run around and that. But every time we go, we get fleas. They were just in the dog park. It's like, sorry, buddy, don't get to say hi to your friends anymore. Parallel pens are interesting. I kind of half like them, um, if you will. You basically have to hold them like straight up and down to make a good mark because they're really for writing calligraphy. Um, what's kind of nice is they actually you can draw with just a corner, so you get like super narrow marks, and you can get the flatter ones. I bought two different sizes, so you get that's the 1.5 millimeter, and this is the 3.8, which is quite a bit thicker. So you can see that. And then you can draw super narrow lines with it. They're good for sketching. I think Jason, Sean, Alexander uses these a lot. The ink that you're supposed to put in them is this kind of water-soluble ink. And I always feel weird about using water-soluble inks. You know, the water-based inks, like, well, they're all water-based, but the water-soluble ones where it can, you get it wet again, it can smear. And but ever since getting these little syringes, one right here, little syringe, you can dip that in ink. And then what I did is I just cleaned out the cartridges that are on the inside of these. And so we have little cartridges you refill, once you little cartridges, that's almost empty now. So I've had a good stuff done with that. But basically, the ones that came with, the ones you can get for it, I took one of those, washed it out, and what you can do is you take that, and I've just been filling it back up with good ink. And I'm using the Rapidograph non-clogging ink. So I think the concern with using different inks is that it can clog. So put some freshener in here. But I'll just use the jar. Let me get my jar of Rapidograph. So here's the Rapidograph Ultra Dark Ultra Draw. And so stick it in there and fill up your cartridge a bit. Not the cartridge, but the injector, and then just stick it in. Start filling it up. That's all refilled, and I can pop that back on. And it's got real ink in there, no permanent ink, as opposed to the other kind. So contour here. But I kind of prefer using the nibs, the Type C nibs, because they get a little bit more angle variety when using them. So you don't have to draw straight up and down like you do with these. You can angle a bit. I paid good money for these pens, so I get some good use out of them. But it's nice, using these kind of flat edges because it makes drawing like long, straight lines really easy. Using the long tip, you can fill in shadow areas pretty quick. So there's a nice amount of potential expression coming out of these. Part of the artist in me, the fine artist, it's like I want to make sure I'm using consistent materials that are going to last forever, and usually using like the kind of more carbon-based inks. These are going to be more light cast than the other ones. Plus, there's kind of a blue cast to the water-soluble inks that bothers me, so this one's going to get after too. So it's always something where I'm like, it's not consistent. And it doesn't matter for print really, but it matters to me. So that's the kind of crazy I am. You have to like catch the tip just right. So it takes practice to kind of get good at these pens, these parallel pens. Some tone around the figure or something like that. So, but yeah, they're cool pens. Definitely recommend them. Nice because it's very portable. So if you're not, you can't bring, or it's too messy to bring, a jar and pen nibs and things like that. This will do pinch pretty well. Yeah, I like that I can put real ink inside. You can see it kind of is made up with some split breaks inside, so if you kind of put it too close, kind of put the wrong angle, you get those textured lines, which there's nothing wrong with them, but if you're trying to keep it clean, just to be aware that you get those kind of textured lines up there. Can be nice. I just haven't found the correct kind of control to get them consistently. That's always the excitement of like a new medium, is figuring out what it can do, what it can't. Sometimes you want to make things do things that they're just not going to do. And, but you know, trying to make it do those things, sometimes you find out other things that are good about it. Seen these in James Gurney's photographs too, like in his studio jars. He'll have a couple of these different sizes. Anyway, today's the 21st, huh? Tuesday, not Wednesday. Yeah, someone was pointing out to me that I can put music on my reels on YouTube, which I didn't realize you could do, or the shorts, as they call them there, I guess. But I hadn't been doing that. Some guy left a comment like, "Why don't you put music on these?" Good. So I was using just their computer version of it to do that, and I don't think I saw the setting there, or I just wasn't looking at it, so I was just dropping stuff over there. Seems like it's made a good difference for things getting seen, so I guess that's beneficial. Hello over there. Penguin Soldier. Actually, just about to finish up, so my little morning warm up here. But today's an exciting day. I got my new lens, so I was swapping between a couple different lenses before, and now I've got like this super zoom out lens. So there's my whole desk. There's Instagram over here, and I can zoom in really, really tight. So I found a used one on the good old eBay, and snatched it up since it costs less than half of what a new one would. And guess I need to get rid of my old lenses somehow. See if I can sell them cheap or something. So, yeah. But thanks everybody that came in. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you all later.